just recorded my mission statement on that microphone, and through this contraption here, right there is it's got two sandbags in there, and it's clamped down so that way that actually pulls that down, pulls the microphone up, and there's a clamp there to keep the. There's a lot of mechanisms, but yep. Hello, everyone. This is Jeremy Dinovo. Many of you people know me from Delaware, Ohio. Yeah. And Jeremy Dinovo, you also may know me as Mr. Variety, because I'm bold and daring sometimes. But many people, even though you know you don't know, even though you know you don't know, 3 years ago, I had brain surgery. So I had a simple choice. I either could be living and among the living and with a modified cranium, or I could just be in the deep six. I'm also Jeremy Dinovo, also known as the owner and operator of DustyBootsworth.com. That's D-U-S-T-Y, Boots, B-O-O-T-S, Worth. Don't forget the worth. That's DustyBootsworth.com. And that's for Jeremy's music, which I haven't written much lately, because obviously I've been getting busy living, as the movie says, or your internal Morgan Freeman says. Anyway, too many name drops. But anyway, this is Jeremy, aka whatever. Jeremy Dinovo, Delaware, Ohio. I'm also starting a new website. It's currently under construction. I'm the owner and operator of a new website called WhoNeedsDesigners.com. That's Who Needs Designers with a Z, as in zebra.com. Now, I could probably get WhoNeedsDesigners.com not spelled with a Z, but so WHONEEDSDEZI. I can't even spell the word designers. I mean, who really can? So WHONEEDSDEZIGNERS.com. WhoNeedsDesigners.com with a Z. So the reason for this recording, or video, however you're seeing it or hearing it or reading it, because I pay the money for the captions. The reason for this communication is that I'm trying to redesign my whole life. Because the fact of the matter, without actually looking at the script, is I need to redesign my life. I know certain facts. One, that I can barely work the full-time job I'm working right now, which is okay. I'm still getting by. But I also know that in addition to the fact that I cannot work a second job, because that would just kill me. If I cannot handle my main full-time job and the stresses that causes, well, with my health condition, I can definitely not work a second job, like a part-time job. So the only solution, in order to try to make ends meet, or at least to try to communicate with people outside of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg jerking your chain all the time, trying to get you off balance. The Zuck is not cool sometimes. But that's why you can make your own website. That's why I made my own website. WhoNeedsDesigners.com. WhoNeedsDesigners.com. That's WHONEEDSDEZIGNERS.com. That's WhoNeedsDesigners.com with a Z. And that's why I'm designing that site. That's currently under construction. So if you're trying to visit it, thanks. But there's nothing on it. Or there is, and you tuned in later. Cool, thanks. How's it going? My name's Jeremy, aka whatever I have to be in order to make a living and still be here on planet Earth. So, back to the story. We're about 5 minutes in. 3 years ago, I had brain surgery. I had the decision of, do I do the surgery or do I just do a long game of limbo? How low can I go? I think about 6 feet's good enough for me, you know? No, I decided to do brain surgery. And I had a condition I was born with. It's called cavernoma. It's CavernomA. It's cavernoma. And that's characterized by a weak set of blood vessels that are inside the brain area that when they have pressure put on them, they leak blood into the place that's not supposed to have blood leak into it, the brain. And so blood leaking on the brain is another word for stroke. Yeah, not the one that we listen to with the cool movies, like stroke, stroke. Not that one, but the kind you don't want to have, the kind you want to remember. Okay, can the person give you a big smile? Can the person say the same sentence twice in a row? If not, call 911, because that person may just have seconds to live. You don't know. Call 911 fast. Don't be smart. Be like, oh, well, grandma can take it. Dad's a tough bird. No. A stroke can kill you. Call 911. I don't care what the emergency bill costs. Guess what? It's better than, well, not having your aunt or your uncle or whoever that is having a stroke and not being there. Call 911, hit 911 for emergency, and a stroke definitely is an emergency. But I'm not here to tell you about strokes. I'm going to tell you I was basically having one because of the fact I had cavernoma. So you might have a question, and this is really a good Q&A. I ask the questions and that many people asked many times before, and I try to give the answers, my best answers that I've tried to think of. How did I come to need brain surgery? Well, when I was born with this with the weak blood vessels in my head, it was not a big deal. But fast forward to doing some dental surgery, and you know how you need to do a tooth extraction. Well, nobody wants to do that, but I needed to because it was an infected tooth. It had to come out. So I did the tooth extraction at the dentist, and you know how you sign the form at the dentist's office that says, hey, we want to hold you liable in case something weird happens. Well, something weird happened, but it has nothing to do with what the dentist did. So the dentist, once removing the extracted tooth, explained very clearly to me before the procedure was completed that a blood vessel that was no longer needed because the tooth was no longer there, that blood vessel needed to be closed or sealed up or cured or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what they do, but they just stop that blood vessel, stop that blood flow. Well, as you know in theater, one door closes, another door opens. Well, they closed that blood vessel there at the dentist, and what happened was I started noticing a bit of a pulsing sensation in the back of my head. Nothing great or very painful, but just really odd. And I started looking around like, hey, what's going on here? I don't really know what's going on, why I'm feeling this. And nobody could tell me really anything. I stopped at the doctor's office. The doctor's like, you're fine. You're really healthy. All your blood tests come back as great. And like, of course they do. Because we're not testing the area that I think is wrong, which, I needed a CAT scan or a brain scan. I needed to get my brain looked at. So anyway, yeah, after all those tests, everyone's just really super convinced that it was fine. Now, I had one doctor suggest, hey, you should just take a bunch of NSAIDs, NSAIDs, or basically there's salt. It's a salt, like ibuprofen. Take a bunch of that. Well, that actually probably could have killed me because ibuprofen is also blood thinner. And so if my blood is already at risk of coming out of me very quickly because of my cavernoma, my weak blood cells, guess what? The thinner the blood, the easier it's gonna flood through my brain, and the less it's gonna clot. That's like it's just gonna be. So anyway, I had a lot of suggestions, but none of them were right, except for after I finally get the brain scan I needed, and the X-ray technician saying, "So what side of your head did you say that you were feeling that sensation on?" I said, "This side." He's like, "Uh-oh." The X-ray technician's like, "Oh no, we're gonna have to keep you overnight." I'm like, "Oh." And at the same time, I was extremely excited because I'm like, finally, somebody actually believes me and actually understands that there's something real that's going on in my head. Because no one wants to talk about or even discuss, oh, well, let's just go ahead and put you on this scanner that probably could cost a whole lot of money to have you scanned. I'm like, but that's exactly what I needed. Because what I was feeling, that pulsation feeling in the back of my head after I had my blood vessel closed off at the dentist office. Well, anyway, some time went on, and I was trying to, and as time went on, they kept me for at least a week to observe and test me and to diagnose my cavernoma. They kept me over at why I cannot remember it. Well, I don't feel so guilty anymore because, well, I had brain surgery. But I do remember it's the neurosciences office there off of Route 315, Columbus, Ohio, Riverside, I think. I think that's it. If memory serves correct. I'm doing all this without a script. It should have a one-to-one, heart-to-heart with you. What you might say to the tune of a conversation, So they kept me there for about a week at Riverside, and I decided, well, geez, I'm no fool. I know what brain surgery means, and it's the kind of surgery that everyone is always comparing to rocket science. I'm like, well, it's not rocket science. What do you tell a rocket scientist? Well, it's not brain surgery. Well, it's like, wait, no. Actually. So, I decided, well, I'm no fool. I know what this means. I need to make all of my last rites. I need to make all of my documentation correct. I need to go see a lawyer, get my affairs in order, and say, look, if I decide, or if my body decides that this is all I wrote, then here is a last will and testament of where all my crap goes, and to make it way easier on the people that I really love and care, and I do not want to leave a burden behind. So that's why when I decided to get my, sorry, I'm leaning on my bed here in my bedroom. It's where my recording studio is here. Well, portable one. It's real nice and quiet in here, I have to say. But anyway, that's by design. Well, getting back on track, I got my affairs in order. Fast forward to, okay, we're fine. I got the surgery. I don't need to tell you all the details. Got the surgery. Was feeling pretty good. About the first few months by the first 3 months, I was doing nothing because I had to sit there and recover. Now, during those 3 months, had I had another person there, you see, because before you get brain surgery, and even during the time when the nurses and staff are monitoring you, you'll be asked oftentimes the question, hey, do you have anyone close to you that can care for you? And you'll be asked that question often because they're basically hinting at you might need help from someone if you can't do something that you need to do in order to survive. Anyway, I said, no, I don't. I just have me. And I'm the man, basically. I'll try to speed this up a little bit. So I could have actually had um, talked to a lawyer and said, look, the magic word, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a doctor. So if by this point in time you're like, well, this guy knows what he's talking about. No, I just know how to keep myself alive. You need to talk to a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or someone that's held accountable by the public. Not me. Geesh. Uh, I may have ideas, but I'm not certified. There. That's disclaimered. At the same time, though, I could have gotten disability because of the fact that I wasn't working any hours at the time because I was sitting recovering, not expected to get back to work until 3 months later. I could have got disability. It would have been great, I think, if I just decided to do that. But that's not what I decided to do because, well, I just had brain surgery. I had a lot on my mind, if you know what I'm saying. And at the time, it was, you wake up from brain surgery, you pretty much just wake up like, what's going on here? I mean, I know I'm still here, but is this my body? What's going on? It's really weird. The brain weirdness is real. And only people that have really had the brain weirdness know about the brain weirdness. And it's actually by name, the brain weirdness. Look into it. It's pretty cool. Maybe. So anyway, I could have had disability, but because I was alone and in the areas of, pursuing such a thing, I lived alone and I was recuperating by myself with the help of a lot of other people, I should say. And I'm not going to say names because they know who they are, and I'm not here to publicly, hey, everybody, But I had a lot of help, but I didn't have help like that. It was just help like, hey, you're going to get back to work. Like, okay, getting back to work, cool, yeah, still here, woo, like, yeah, and I still am still here, knock on wood. Yeah, whatever that was. It's a wood with some tape on it. Yep, hand cut. Custom hand cut, custom measured. Yeah, okay. Moving on. So, the reason for my website, well, let's just here. So, got the brain surgery, and about 6 months total go by. I'm back to work, for about a month or so, and I'm feeling pretty freaking awesome. I'm riding my bike every once in a while. Nothing too fancy, but sometimes I just decide to go on a bike ride. It's cool. I'm not on that much medication at all for my headaches because they didn't really have them for the first 6 months because everything was kind of kind of gooey. I mean, everything was healed and solid enough for me to be on my feet and out and about, but things did not completely. Now, I don't know for a fact, but I think it is after 2 years after a surgery is when your scar tissue really locks up. But I don't know for a fact. I think that's something I was reading. About 2 years. But don't quote me on that. Oh my gosh. Ooh, that was some cracking body right there. So anyway, that I have researched, but anyway, 6 months. Okay, so about a year goes by, grand total of a year after the surgery. I'm starting to notice I have headaches, and they just don't go away. And it's hard to sleep. I'm restless. It's hard to sleep. And so the doctor and I we're tiptoeing our way, and the doctor's like, "Hey, offer. Here, try this. I'm just like, and doctor's office also like, hey, it's okay if you don't want to, do what you feel you need to do. I appreciate the doctor at, Ohio Health. I really appreciate that. And I'm not pitching, hey, Ohio Health up in here. It's just a matter of fact. That's where I landed, you know. And at the same time, I'm not saying I'm neither confirming nor denying the quality of health over Ohio Health. You be the judge. But I'm just saying, I appreciate my doctor very much. If it weren't for my doctor listening, I would not be here, blowing hot air into this microphone, or even having a microphone to blow hot air into, because, well, I had to work for that, earn the money for it. But about a year goes by, I'm starting to have pains, headaches. It's more common to the line of restlessness. I'm like, I can't seem to sleep. I seem to be tired all the time, doc. What's going on with me, doctor? And so just try more and more medication. But fast forward to now. Okay, now I take Toradol. It's just a pain relief booster shot. It's an injection. I get it about once per month because that's about what time when I usually get the headaches. Now there are other methods that I use to try to, avoid using Toradol, because there's other methods that should be tried first. But if those don't work, you know, that's all. That's all I'm up to doing is just getting that pain relief booster shot. And I receive a regular basis shot of that to try to help to regulate my sleep as well. So here's the facts, hard facts. Now, 3 years after my surgery, I learned from the neurologist the fact of the matter is that in order for my surgery to have taken place, an incision had to be made, which I was informed of the incision and that it had to go through my scalp in order to get into my skull to perform the cure that is keeping me alive. That I understood back then. What I did not understand, and maybe could be communicated better in the future, is that the idea is that I may be living with a headache for the rest of my life that I'm going to have to maintain with medication. That probably could have been communicated to me. But hey, who's perfect? I'm happy I'm here now that I get the chance to complain. Yay, opportunity. But at the same time, I'm not complaining too much. I'm just saying I probably should have been informed of that. I could probably be having headaches for the rest of my life, though I'd be living and probably not having headaches every single day. Probably having an enjoyable life for the majority of my life. And then for a good amount of time, you're going to have to deal with headaches that medication will reverse, but you just need to just basically take a big time out. And so the greatest amount of time I've had a headache, like the downtime from the headache start time to medication activation and end time, the greatest amount of time is about 2.5 weeks, and that's extremely long. Most times, well, the fastest amount of time from the beginning of my noticeable headache to the end of the medication process of waiting for the medicine to situate is about 5 days, where I'm back to doing everything normal. 5 to 7 days. That's the least amount of time. Now that's no set expectation. That is no set expectation at all. That's what I'm trying to get across here with this recording, is that there are no set expectations with me. Now, what I do have is the understanding is that my condition is neurosurgical. It's not neurological as much as it is. I think it's neurosurgical. Don't quote me on that. I'm not a neurologist, nor am I a neurosurgeon. However, examining the facts, we do know that I had an incision cut into the back of my head, into my scalp, in order for the neurosurgeon to gain access to the area of my skull to essentially cure me. That area of the scalp that I was incised into, well, let's examine that. When there's an incision or a large cut or abrasion going into, around, or through a nerve or nerve ending, that causes nerve damage, okay? And a damaged nerve can cause pain, tingling, sensation, a list of things. Look up nerve damage. Figure it out for yourself. I'm not a doctor. Okay, we do know that I have had that incision in the back of my scalp. And then it seems to me every single time that I get a really bad headache, all that pain is focused right around the plate, the fatty part around that incision point. That's the most sensitive area. If I brush my fingers over top of it, it is the most sensitive. It feels like pins and needles. Just brushing my finger over top of it. If I press it, it's real bad. And that's just real dumb. You don't do that if it hurts, So it seems like that seems to be the control group of my situation. Is that all of the things that are going on with me, to a critical degree, are on the outside of my skull. So maybe, hopefully, neurosurgery and perhaps even neurology can advance and become better to the degree. Now, I was reading some interesting facts at, I think it's orthobiologics, I think. It can help by using needles to insert into the scar tissue around scarred nerves, and then inserting needles that will inject orthobiologics into the area and break up the scar tissue and allow the nerve. Now, I don't know if it's allowing the nerve to grow further or function better or whatever it is, but the idea is that it allows that nerve to have a second life instead of it just dangling there saying, boy, if I only had a nerve, it's not like that. But but I was reading up on that. That's interesting for at least orthodontics. I think that's it. Sports medicine, that kind of thing. Anything with what they call so there's the central nervous system, which is strictly brain and spine. That's central nervous system. And then there's your peripheral nervous system. Those are the two parts of your nervous system. The orthodontics, the orthobiologics, I think it's something called along the lines of, what do they call that? Ultrasound guided, and it has something that guides needles to inject fluids, into the cartilage, or not, sorry, the cartilage, but this is what happens when you have brain surgery, or when you have brain surgery, or just a long day. You start forgetting stuff. But anyway, interesting developments in science, but they need to just bring this forth so that I don't have to have a headache half of my life, because it's on my scalp, and I think there could be something done to where some scientist out there says, you know what? These brain surgery patients are great, but you know what really sucks about them? They have headaches that they shouldn't be having because, well, I don't know the ins and outs, or all the facts, but I just hope one day that my condition can be treated to where I don't have to have one single headache ever, But right now it's looking like, because of the nerve endings on my scalp being severed as they are and being blocked by the scar tissue where the incision was made, there's not really much that can be done as it stands if we're looking at a prognosis instead of a diagnosis. Prognosis just says, hey, here's your broken head. See ya. Looks like this is what it's going to be like for the rest of your life because no one's going to do anything about it. That's a prognosis. We want a diagnosis. Root cause analysis. Look to the roots, nourish the roots. How do we nourish the roots? Yeah, I know I sound pretty big right now, but I'm not. You see, I'm just a little guy. But big voice. We all got big voices, So we can say something. We just got to practice. But anyway, root diagnosis. So hopefully some scientist out there can diagnose what's going on and say, you know what? We can figure out how not to be dummies anymore. We're actually smart. We're smarties, Let's do things that are smart, But so let me just check my notes again. Sorry. Checking the notes. All right, so let's see what we got here. Notes. Okay, let me just read some stuff. Thankfully, my headache's not too bad right now. Now, another thing you might need to know is that plenty of sleep is the best medicine for someone with a condition like mine, which is related to neurology and neurosurgery. And looking around for some notes here. Okay, here we go. Let's see here. I hope that science advances to where the scalp nerves can be reconnected, and that is a big part of the reason I am in the liberal arts, is to be a part of the voice of suggestion, to try to influence health and science. Imagine a world without Star Trek. Imagine a world without any science fiction. But then, at the same time, understand you don't have to imagine, because these stories, your story is a part of the science story. The power of suggestion, even if it's just fiction, the power of suggestion is something we all have. No special piece of paper nor degree is required, not even an associate's degree. Just say something, and that is all it takes to give anything flight. Eventually. And watch those babies flutter those wings. Of the great idea becoming a great plan, instead of the other way around, where it's a terrible idea. A great idea is a terrible plan. And again, I'm going to keep on working on my under construction website. That's whoneedsdesigners.com. That's WHONEEDSDEZIGNERS.com. That's whoneedsdesigners.com. Will serve, I hope, as a platform for representing how I really am. The rhythm of my headaches, the rhythm of my life, how it affects everyone, and how my life affects everything. Hopefully this platform can serve as a beacon of communication between me and everyone else in the world. I did make a big leap for the first time ever. I decided to purchase, instead of an annual membership for hosting my websites, I decided to do a biennial. That means every 2 years. I committed for 2 straight years on both my websites. So I do not have to pay next year, but I have to pay the following year after that for both my websites. So I have 2 years to get this right. I think that my wisest move with the whoneedsdesigners.com with a Z is to give a very strong and a very clear exposition about the fact that I need to make a good living at what I am most passionate about, but very critically to also be super clear about the fact that my downtimes can be quite long and quite unexpected. I know that after 2 years of the patterns of my headaches, is that they often come at least one time per month. Not any certain time, but at least monthly. It seems my longest time to deal with total downtime caused by a headache and the effect of the medicine is about 2.5 weeks from headache start to medicine end. And then I'm back to doing more work. Now that's more of a rarity, is 2.5 weeks. Most times it's on average between 5 and 7 days and 2 weeks. On average between those times, if you average those times out. But again, there's no set schedule. Another thing I receive a lot today is that people find out that I can do tailoring, and they say instantly, this guy is a tailor, or they think they look at this guy, I can do audio recording. This guy's an audio recording engineer. It's like, yeah, it's like I can tailor, but don't give me anything with critical deadlines because a headache can easily be a conflict because the headache causes downtimes. You know, just understand that we're both helping each other out. You're helping me to try to do what I want to do for the rest of my life that I've trained for my whole life. I think it'd be a waste, an incredible waste of talent and resources to just throw all the things I can do away. Um, there are a lot of things I can do between copy reading, which you can make $100 in 5 minutes on a good copy read, audio recording engineering, and even music recording, music production, which you can make at least $100 an hour. At least that's crazy lowballing it though. There's also photography I can do, videography, including cutting videos, lighting videos, everything you can imagine in the music and picture department. And I've also been doing sewing. There's a lot of things I can do. That's why I'm going to make a website so I can try to organize that a little bit better. So, take it with a grain of salt. Just enjoy this entertaining audio recording. Because right now I'm just philosophizing right now of what I should really be doing. Give my best communication and hopefully getting my best respect for my right audience. To try to meet in the middle and say, okay, you and I found each other. Let's help each other out, So I think I basically got what I had to say, but I want to be absolutely certain. Because right now, here's a goal of mine. We're 36 minutes in and some change. Okay, one of my goals is to get a well-rounded everything. Right now, I can barely afford to pay the bills. However, I work a job with people that are very wonderful people. They're very loving people and caring people. I don't want to leave that job. That job is guaranteeing I'm not going to get hurt. At least not by their intentions, you get all I asked for at a job is I want it to be safe and I want it to be reliable. That's it. Those two things. That's all I ask. And I got it with this job. So I don't want to lose this. I do not want to leave this job. At some point in time, things may change, and I may have to actually move on from the job because of the fact that one thing in life that is constant is change. But at the same time, right now, I love the job I'm at. I love the town I'm in. I live in Delaware, Ohio. I'm a Delawarean. Yeah. I should get some water. Record pause. Just a professional tip. Anytime you're doing voice work, always keep it lubricated. Keep it moist. Keep it wet. And always keep water, a good, clean source of water, and coming out of clean containers that you air dry after you wash them with hot water, soapy water. Keep those clean containers filled with water and at least within 6 feet around you. And you'll be in good business. So I'm back. Have me some water. And I think I was talking about, oh yeah, that's right, well-rounded everything. I love the job I'm in. I love the city I'm in, Delaware, Ohio. Woo! Hey, cool, I didn't get evicted. I was kind of loud there. Sorry, neighbors. But I need a car. I'm sorry. I need a car. You see, what I currently drive is called a death trap. Yeah, I call it the brand name. Let's see here, Death Trap Luxury Edition. It's a luxury. I haven't been killed yet by this piece of junk. The current vehicle I'm in, and this may change in time. I hope it does soon. The current would-be vehicle I'm in right now is the suspension is rusted. So I could just be bopping down the road one day, and all of a sudden, oh, what do you know? I'm out of control. And it's not anything I can do about it either. So I'm doing it mostly just driving around, get around town car. You know, it's one step better than a beater with a heater. It's a get around town car to function, to comply, to pay the bills, keep the roof over my head, and to try to stay warm, safe, and fed. But it's not a car. It's a death trap, luxury edition, because it's a luxury. I'm still alive driving it. You know, so I need an actual car, and I need to make at least $6,000 at least to get a decent vehicle that isn't gonna try to kill me. You know, if I want to get a good down payment, at least in today's market, we're looking in 2025, the year of 2025. At least $5,000 as a good down payment. But I need to make a monthly payment of $400, $300 per month in order to keep paying for a good car that's actually a car. You know, that at the time engineers were looking at it, they're like, yeah, hey, this isn't going to kill anyone. Cool. You know, but I need a good car. Also, I'm tired of apartment living. Now, I do like apartment living. Don't get me wrong. It's a good place if that's where you love to be. Good, you know, get on it. But I like the idea of having a homestead. You know what a homestead is? Look it up. Look deeper into it. Understand that a homestead, and I'm not a lawyer, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, talk to a lawyer about a homestead and its benefits. But a homestead can really keep you in good shape, you know? Like, you can actually have a place to live because you own the home, you know, and that's where you live. So it's harder for you to get kicked out of that kind of place because you own it. It's yours, you know. And other than the fact that you don't have to look over your shoulder every single time, for the most part, when you own your home, it's yours, you know. Hey, if that's where I like to keep my rusty bucket of nails, that's where I like to keep. Just get over it, okay? It's mine, you know? And you don't have to talk to anybody else about that. That's your deal. Sorry. I am sorry about my speech impediment. Sometimes that happens. That's another thing, too. If there's someone having trouble talking, and I should say this, 41 minutes and almost 42 minutes in, is that what it's like to have a really bad headache. And you're your job, and you have to greet people all day long. Hi, please, thanks, bye. You know, oh, you're welcome. Oftentimes, I have a hard time saying you're welcome. Sometimes I have a hard time saying hi because my head hurts so much. And that's partly what it's like having a headache. Another thing it's like having a headache like mine is what might be called migraines, because it's not just like I had a tooth pulled. You know, I have a serious head condition, health condition. Well, it also my balance is off, and it's hard to get my motor skills right and functioning when I have a headache. I mean, this is why I sit and I do nothing except for taking medicine and taking time off to sleep and to take it easy, because I literally cannot do anything. I would not be caught dead. You know, I would not be caught trying to use a sewing machine if my head hurts a lot, because that's a powerful machine that can really do some bad damage. So I just sit and I wait until my body's like, okay, I'm cool, let's rock, you know. But I don't know, I can't always have it good, you know. But that's what I'm trying to redesign. You know, I made this t-shirt based on this cool joke. And I will not name the Joker, but this Joker is funny. That's all you have to know. This t-shirt, it's hey, I drive a DeLorean. In the front of the t-shirt is, or at least the front of the joke is, hey, I drive a DeLorean. And the back of the t-shirt, or the joke, is, yeah, I drive it from time to time. But then I advanced that joke a little bit further, thanks to another friend of mine who says, you know what, a DeLorean and a Pinto, but the DeLorean is a step above the Pinto in that class of cars that are really cool cars, but they just had such terrible design issues. Like, that's good information. Thanks. He said, yeah, you should say I drive a DeLorean, but it breaks down time to time. I'm like, okay, I get that. But I came up with something better. And I think everyone likes it. And I think that's the idea behind, what's one of the ideas behind whoneedsdesigners.com. And that's whoneedsdesigners.com. Let me scroll through this message here. Whoneedsdesigners.com. That's WHONEEDSDEZIGNERS.com. Who Needs Designers with a Z.com. One of those ideas is that, I own a DeLorean. Yeah, from time to time, it needs redesigned. Ooh, that hits home, doesn't it? You watch the movie Back to the Future, and you realize, hey, science fiction. Wait, no. Somebody who's traveling through time may need to redesign the DeLorean for things that they had not discovered until they traveled into a different time period, where they need to have the compliance, which is fit, form, and function, to get back to the future, or the past, wherever they need to traverse their vessel of living, But from time to time, it needs redesigned, and that's where I'm at. I think from time to time, and the time is now. Oh yes, in the future. No, the time is now. That things need to be redesigned. Now, I know that's a really strong socio-political statement, but it's also a very true one. Like, aren't we all tired of being not nice people? The clinical term buttholes to each other. Are we just tired of being buttholes? Let's just all nod our butthole heads and say yes. We are tired of being buttholes to each other. We want a little bit of relax and recreation. We want some time off. We want a vacation. When do we want it? When do we want it? We want a vacation. When do we want it? We want it now. But anyway, I'm not going to shout too loudly because, again, I have neighbors. Again, I really need a house. And again, I need a car and not a death trap. I'm driving that around. I just don't need that. So if anyone has a really nice vehicle that is way under 100,000, I killed my car miles, because anything over 100,000 miles is like, you'll probably get at least a couple extra miles out of it. Then it's toast. I need it way under 100,000. We're talking way under 60,000 miles if you can get it on the odometer. Come on. The best car I ever bought in my life started with 40,000 miles on the odometer. It was sitting in a grandma's garage. Cool. But yeah, it lasted me like 15 years. Like, yeah, that's a car, dude. It carries you. Car. Anyway, let me forward to my notes and check anything I need to check, and just go up a little bit here. Let's see here. I need to, but one of these days, hopefully I can design the bridge to cross over to accomplish life critical goals, and hopefully for me to be there is in the best ways I can be there, and never to get majorly shortchanged, and never to get basically cheated out of living a full and prosperous life. Well, it has been more than 5 minutes of me typing my mission statement here. Yeah. But I'm trying to perhaps make my own audio aids and also my own visual aids, because that seems to help people. And I do that using music, picture, comedy, and storytelling to try to create these audio and visual aids. And that's why I own a sewing machine. I own lots of microphones. I own a lot of good things I need to own in order to survive, because the man is not going to let me survive. The man's going to gonna walk all over me and not even realize I exist until I'm a bloody puddle. That's what the man's gonna do. But I need to do these things, and be the and design. I need to do these things in my life. I'm not gonna be able to do it alone. I'm not gonna be able to do this by working just a regular full-time job, because that's not gonna be able to put the real bread on my table. That's gonna put a table in front of me. If you saw how I lived, you'd be like, oh my God, how do you move? I'm like, I don't even know how I get out of the house. I mean, I got a lot of stuff I need to work on and do, But that's just the thing, I'm growing out of my pot, I don't grow pot, but I'm growing outside of the bounds of where I was originally planted. I need to continue to evolve and to move, and from time to time, this DeLorean needs redesigned. Anyway, that's all I have here to say. This is Jeremy Dinovo from Delaware, Ohio. For a lot of people in the world, they know me as Jeremy, aka Mr. Variety, and I still am. I just have to be also a variety of taking it easy sometimes. And Variety Sessions is my brand. And Variety Sessions is where a session of variety can occur. That's it. Not, hey, watch my show. No, everywhere in the world, everywhere outside of the world, everywhere around the world is more than a show. Everywhere and all the time is a session where variety can shine. Okay. Anybody make me a sandwich yet? Nope, not yet. Been talking for about an hour. Okay, well, it's about 51 minutes of change. This is Jeremy Dinovo from Delaware, Ohio, a Delawarean. Woo woo! And I'm just signing off here. I just wanted to make clear my goals, my intentions with my new website, whoneedsdesigners.com. That's with the letter Z, and that's whoneedsdesigners.com. That's WHONEEDSDEZIGNERS.com. Whoneedsdesigners.com with a Z. And that's just that site right now is to support what I call fabric and design. But at the same time as we're redesigning the fabric of life, I'm trying to redesign my life so that people can understand how they can support it and how I can support them. I'm not the same old guy I always once was. So, and also I have another website called DustyBootsworth.com, a little easier to remember. DUSTY Boots, BOOTS Worth. Don't forget the worth.com. DustyBootsworth.com. That's been running for at least 12 or 13 years now. Again, I'm the owner and operator of both sites. But the one I'm here to talk about is whoneedsdesigners.com. WHONEEDSDEZIGNERS.com. And hopefully, as time goes on, from time to time, we will be redesigned. This is Jeremy, aka Mr. Variety, Jeremy Dinovo of Delaware, Ohio. Woo woo, Delawarean. And talking to all y'all out there. All y'all know who y'all are. Everywhere. Whether you're from California, woo woo, or you're from other places I've been to, yeah. Or you're not, and you somehow like, what is this crap on the internet? It's cool. Well, hey, how's it going? This is Jeremy. What's up? It's your buddy. You can contact me, dustybootsworth.tv. That's DUSTY Boots, BOOTS Worth. Don't forget the Worth. That's dustybootsworth.tv. You can contact me. Easy as that. I designed the website, so you can just email me. Email me an email. You'll have to go through my screener, but hey, It's you. It's me. And contact me on dustybootsworth.tv. This is Jeremy, aka Mr. Variety, Jeremy Dinovo of Delaware, Ohio. And hopefully to be of the country, the United States of America. I'd love to come and visit you. So long as I don't have health conditions. And that health above all, and to improve. This is Jeremy, and I'm signing out. Thank you. And I bid thee farewell, and good tidings.